Hey, this is Jason Creel. You know, sometimes it's just time to part ways with a customer. They're not making you any money. You're not making them happy for whatever reason. And let me just give you from my own personal experience, both past and present, when it's time, when you know it's time, when you know I'm not making any money off this customer, or this customer is more trouble than they're worth, you know, maybe you're making money, but they're just too much of a headache. Just go ahead and fire them. I mean, that's what you need to do, in my opinion. I can't think of a single time that I've ever fired a customer where later I regretted it and I thought, wow, I wish I wouldn't have fired them. So, you know, what I can think of is times where I've been fired by a customer where I wish I would have fired them before they fired me, because they were, you know, they're hard to please, and you know, some people are just hard. And so what I'm saying is, if you're trying to build a successful lawn business, you know, there's just a certain group of customers that you pretty much can't build a successful lawn business with. You need to get rid of them, cut your ties, and start building good customers. Now let me give you two examples of this in my business right now. So first, I have a lady, and I've been mowing her grass. And the agreement was I was going to mow her grass every other week. Well, you know, she paid her bill, and then it went to 3 weeks. You know, and I'm not mowing that much grass right now because I'm doing mostly fertilization, weed control. So I'm only mowing on Wednesdays. And so, you know, if you miss Wednesday, I'm not coming back until next Wednesday. Well, it went 3 weeks one time, you know, and I mowed it, and it was tall and took longer. And then, you know, here it is. Wednesday came and went. You know, like she's kind of gotten off the regular schedule, and so she contacts me on Friday and says, "Hey, when's the next time you can cut my grass? It's getting pretty tall." I said, "I'm not going to be mowing grass again till Wednesday." You know, and so it's one of these deals where she's got to be there to let the dogs in, and it's just, you know, it's nothing personal against her. I don't think she's a bad person. But at the same time, I don't, you know, you can't necessarily blame the customer, because, you know, they're probably not self-employed. They don't understand certainly what it's like to run a lawn business. You know, and some people get it. You have customers that get it, that know, hey, you're on a schedule. You got to have a lot of yards in the same area to make money. You know, and you can't just drive all over town to cut 1 yard. I mean, you just can't. Yeah, so, but what I'm saying is, some people, they just don't understand that concept. I don't feel like I need to educate them and say, hey, listen, I can't just pick up on a certain day of the week when I'm spraying yards, drive home, unload, you know, hook up a trailer, mower, and go drive back, mow your 1 yard for $45, and then drive back, and you know, it's just not going to work. I mean, it's just not. You know, so, and you know, I say I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to say, hey, you know what? And that's what I did. When she contacted me Friday, I said, you know, I just replied back. It was a text message. I just simply replied back, and this is key. You're not trying to be ugly to the people. I mean, that's important. You're not trying to. I'm not mad at her or anything. I'm just simply saying, I would be happy to cut your grass every other week. Let me know if that works for you. You know, and that's basically all you say. You know, and if they don't want it cut every other week, then you know it's just not going to work out. So that's one example. The other example is with my weed control fertilization side, and I get some guys that send me customers from time to time that are in mowing yards, and they send them to me for weed control. And so I had this as a referral, and it's an elderly man, at least in his 70s, maybe 80s. And he told me, I gave him a price. He sat and talked, seemed very nice, had a pretty nice yard. And I try to set people's expectations on what to expect on the weed control, and that, you know, when I spray your yard the next day, it's not going to look perfect. This thing takes time, and particularly when you're starting in the middle of the summer. You know, I hadn't had a chance to get the pre-emergence down in the spring, and so like I would have if they'd have been my customer all along. But when I don't pick them up as a customer until June. There's not a lot I can do about that. So anyway, the point is, I call him, I go out, take a look at his yard, measure his yard, sit down, talk with him about his yard, give him the price. He calls me back a day or two later, says, hey, I want you to know we want to use you for weed control. He said, but I need a little break on the price. And I don't particularly like negotiating price, but I thought, well, you know what, it's not a big deal. I'll give this man a break. He told me, he said, I'm still working. I'm older. I'm still working. I can only afford this as long as I'm working. And so I knocked off a little bit. And he said, okay, let's do it. And so I go out and say, all right, we're in the summer. I hadn't had a chance to do the pre-emergency thing in the middle of the summer. I said, your next round, I'm going to come out. I'm going to fertilize your yard. I'm going to spot treat for weeds. And, let's just see what happens. So, fertilize his yard, spot treat for weeds. He had a very thin grass in his backyard. I go back, check on it a few days later. We got some rain. I go back, check a little later, and his backyard's starting to fill in. The fertilizer's kicking in, his grass is growing. I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, this is looking great. I'm spraying weeds. He calls me back, says, hey, I still had some weeds. I said, okay, I'll be out and take a look at it again. He called me again today, and he said, hey, I was out there today and I picked up more weeds. And I said, I kind of got slightly impatient with him. I said, listen, I think I've been to your yard 5 times, 5 times. He said, when's the last time you've been in my yard? I said, probably 2 weeks ago. I said, I can't, anyway, I've been to it 5 times. One time was the actual paid visit where I fertilized his yard. The rest of it was going back, spot treating, going back, checking on it, got a phone call, go back again, go back, and I said, and I think he could sense I was basically losing my patience on the phone today. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll come out Monday and I'll take a look at it again. I'll spot treat some weeds. But I said, I didn't have a chance to put out the pre-emergence in the fall. I didn't have a chance to put out the pre-emergence in January. I didn't have a chance to put out the pre-emergence in March. And so you're not going to have a perfect yard until next year. I didn't get the chance to do that. And so you call me in June when weeds are growing, and I come out and fertilize and spot treat weeds, and anyway. Again, I probably went too far in trying to defend myself when I just need to say, so here's what I did. I called the guy who referred the customer to him, the mowing guy. I said, hey, what's the deal with this guy? I said, he's about to drive me up the wall. He's calling me. He said, yeah, he said he fired me one time, then hired me back, and he said he calls us all the time too. I said, well, listen, I just had some experience like this before, and I said, I don't think it's going to work out. And I said, I said, I'll go out and spray his weeds on Monday. I said, I think I'm going to just give him a call and say, hey, I think it's going to be best if you just use a different service. I'm not able to meet your needs at this point, or, say it however you want. And again, I don't want to be ugly to him. I don't want to offend him, and I want to be careful on how I word it, but the point is, I can't make money off of customers like this. I'm trying to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not eventually thousands, of weed control fertilization customers that we're on a efficient route. And I'm talking about doing an excellent job. I'm not trying to cut corners. I'm not trying to cheat anybody. But at the same time, I can't come out 5-6 times between each treatment to check on your yard, to spray. You just can't do it and make any money. So again, I don't have to explain that to him necessarily, but I know that I can't, and I know that there are plenty of customers out there that have more realistic expectations that, like I said, I'm going to make your yard look great. It just might not look great overnight. Give it time. Let me next year get my pre-emergent down before we have, Anyway, I'm defending myself again. But the point is, think through your own customers. Is there a customer out there that you think, you know what, I'm not mad at this person, but I simply don't make money off of them. Do I need either A, go up on their price, or B, just part ways and move on? You know, there's plenty more customers out there, and what I look at it is, let's say this year I pick up 100 customers, which I think I can. 90 of them are keepers. You know, 5 of them fire me and I fire 5. You know, and that may not be exactly right, but most of them are keepers. And what I'm saying is, each year you add more and more good customers. You weed out the few that are not good, whether they don't pay or they just are more trouble, or, you know, whatever, and build your business. So anyway, hope that helps. I'm not trying to be ugly to people. I'm just simply saying, if you let the customer, you know, you're in this to be your own boss. You know, at least I am. And if you got the customer bossing you around, you know, the customer needs to work under your terms. I mean, you provide excellent service, excellent customer service, but at the same time, you can't let the customer boss you around. Which day you're going to come, you're going to do, you know, you'll go crazy. Hope that helps. Thanks.